Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about astrology and the shooting of Jacob Blake. Now, I'm sure many of you have heard about this. This has gained notoriety. I say notoriety, but it's gained a lot of attention in the media, and that would be a vast understatement. Jacob Blake. Was shot according to Wikipedia. He was shot 7 times, and it was in he was shot in the back, and many people see this as excessive force by the police, and this is form of brutality. And anyway, I'm going to talk about some transits and natal placements in his chart, which may have been tied into this. Now, the thing is, first off, I want to offer my condolences to the family and friends of Jacob Blake, and even to Jacob Blake himself. He's probably never going to see this video, but I just wanted to state that anyway, in case there was some remote chance that he may see it, or maybe some family members, some friends, people prominent in his life. And I'm offering my prayers that he gets that this is not going to be it's near perilous. It seems like, he's in stable condition, I believe, now, but the thing is, this was something that was at least potentially perilous, and he has been paralyzed. My understanding, I think it was his father reported this, that he is paralyzed right now from the waist down. Now the thing is, now, of course, again, I had to improvise and do a solar slash sunrise chart for Jacob Blake. I got in this, and even the date is going to be speculative to some degree, but I'm going with it because I did find it on online on a website that was called it's entitled it's called van2news.com, and it seems like the transits seem to fit him, this situation, this event, you could say, based on that birth date. And he's got, according to van2news.com, he's born on April 30th. 1991, of course, making him a sun in Taurus, and his moon is either in Scorpio or Sagittarius, depending on time of birth. Now, he was tased, my understanding, he was tased in order to be subdued, and there was also, understand, there was at least a brief scuffle he had with the police. Being a sun in Taurus, he was not likely going to give in easily if he was involved in any altercation or physical confrontation, but this is still excessive nonetheless, to say the absolute least. One thing that stands out to me, based on this birth date for April 30th, 1991, he had transit Uranus, making a close conjunction to his natal sun at the time. And when transit Uranus hits one's sun, this could be about something unusual or anticipated may happen with the physical body, something shocking. And he was tased. Remember, you're talking about voltage, electricity with tasers. You're talking about, getting some volts that are hitting you. It's really basically like an electric shock, but it's a pretty good one. Uranus is associated with electricity, and the sun can be connected with the physical body. Yes, the ascendant is what is going to dominate the physical appearance, the physical body, the vitality, but the sun can play a role in this as well. And it just basically, you're talking about when Uranus hits the sun as well, this could indicate disruptions to one's life, and something that could be very unanticipated, unusual, and certainly you're talking about something like that that can affect one's life. The sun does rule one's life. My understanding is that being a true Taurus, he wanted some kind of safe and peace place, some stable type of environment, and that was basically, he had you could say, a disruption to that at this time. Now, another thing that I wanted to, that I noticed, this is that looking at his chart, sadly, he has Mars in its full in Cancer, and it's conjunct Chiron. Now, he was shot in the back. If it was in the upper back, I don't know this, but I'm wondering if maybe something might have been pierced his chest because the zodiac sign Cancer rules the chest. Mars, of course, is associated with volatility, violent actions, physical confrontation, injuries. He might have been tased in the chest. It would not surprise me if that's where he was tased, because when you have Mars in Cancer, there's susceptibility to injuries to the chest area. Now, the thing about this as well, I mean, looking at the chart and some transits to it. Well, first off, I want to talk about something that's not related to the shooting in this chart. The first thing, having the Sun in Taurus, obviously, I mean, his focus, I'm sure, was having a lot of peace and stability and tranquility, and really, and there can also be focus on determination and persistence. Now, if his moon was in Sagittarius, that could be in something sports related. According to one website, he did have an interest in sports. If his moon is in Scorpio, well, that could still be like one-on-one type competition, which wouldn't exclude sports, but it would be more of the emotional needs connected with deep research, investigation, maybe even things connected with astrology, occult, supernatural matters. Now, another thing too is based on the solar sunrise time. His sun is at a critical degree at 9 degrees Taurus. Sorry, I'm just trying to scroll down a moment. People, don't mind me. I'm trying to see something. Yeah, I'm trying to say something with this chart. He does have Chiron conjunct Mars in his natal chart, so that could really be about an exacerbation of some kind of injury. There might be more suffering in relation to an injury. Mars in the third house can be about volatile experiences, confrontations in your own neighborhood. And interestingly enough, the third house is also connected with, he has Mars in Cancer in the third house in the solar sunrise chart. Mars and you're talking about the third house in astrology. It can be associated with short journeys and local transportation. And having Mars in Cancer in it, well, that could be, I mean, you're talking, he was going over to his vehicle at the time when he got shot. So this was a time when he was where gunfire, I guess you could say gunfire wounds were inflicted on him. You could say, so to speak, they were basically, I mean, he was shot while, I mean, with obviously with the gun. He was shot when he was trying to go to his vehicle, and the third house is connected with short journeys, local transportation, and I would say that would include your vehicles that you use in short journeys. Now, another thing I noticed too is that looking at this, looking at his chart and the transits that are involved in it. Now, he was paralyzed from the waist down, according to what his father had apparently he had reported. Now, I'm looking at this at his chart, and I mean, sadly, you're talking about he has in his chart, he does have the North Node. First, so he has the North Node in Capricorn, and transit Pluto was very close to it. So the first thing I'll look at is he was when you're talking about the North Node being involved in transit, this could be about issues that one may have to address or confront. Being Pluto, it can be about life and death issues, possible death, and you're talking about the Capricorn is connected, you could say, with the upper legs where the knees are, and it's the hamstrings. He had, I mean, those issues. I mean, you're talking about that ability. The movement now is destroyed with that, and Pluto can, I mean, Pluto, unlike Saturn, is not about just inhibiting or restricting or limiting. It can obliterate and destroy. Transit Pluto again was very close to his North Node, North Node in Capricorn at this time of the shooting. Now, another thing that I noticed too is that, I mean, he was shot in the back. I don't know if it was the upper back or lower back or both, But I mean, at the time, transit Sun was in his fifth house. In the solar/sunrise chart, the Sun can be about physical issues, and you're talking about the fifth house can be associated with the upper back. So it wouldn't surprise me if he he was shot in the upper back at this time, and he also has Jupiter in Leo as well. Um, and you're talking Jupiter, as I've talked about in previous videos, could be strongly benign and benevolent, be very paradoxical, very strongly benign and benevolent, but could also have a tendency to enlarge and expand. In this case, it may have enlarged and expanded issues connected with the upper back. Now, and it also squares his Sun. So that could be really you could say exaggerated, enlarged issues that could be Leo related, and that would include the upper back. Now, he also has Saturn in Aquarius that makes a square to his Taurus Sun. And Saturn in Aquarius by itself, I mean, Saturn can be about chronic, debilitations, and Aquarius, of course, rules the lower legs. And his lower legs right now are not, are paralyzed. He's being paralyzed from the waist down is not being able to move your legs. Period. They're immobilized, the upper and lower legs. Again, Capricorn is more the upper legs, and you're talking this the hamstrings and the knees area, and Aquarius is associated with the lower legs. So anyway, hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. And another thing I'm noticing too is that looking at his chart, he also has his north node is at 21 degrees Capricorn based on the solar sunrise time, and it's also the south node. Of course, that puts a south node 21 degrees Cancer, and that is a close conjunction to his natal Chiron, and it's also conjunct his natal Mars. Whenever you have the south node in astrology, it can affect planets that it contacts to its detriment. You're talking about the south node being very close to Chiron. That might have exacerbated possible wounds and suffering. Chiron is in Cancer at 22 degrees in the zodiac sign Cancer, and it wouldn't surprise me if he was tased in the chest area. Chiron is also at that 22nd degree, which is really, it's referred to often as the kill or be killed degree in astrology, regardless of what sign it's in. Now, it's especially detrimental when it's in a fixed sign, because that is considered a critical degree. 22 degrees of the fixed signs are considered critical, but it can still be I believe it can be very adverse in other signs, but not to the extent as in the fixed signs. Now, another thing too, what I'm looking at in his chart is that, well, the ruler of the 8th house, that is Sagittarius on the 8th house cusp in the solar sunrise chart, the ruler of that falls in the 4th house. So sadly, in some cases, this could indicate a murder that could result in the end of life of somebody. I want to say, kind of going off on a Gemini moon tangent again here, but some of you may have remembered I did a video. It was on a child that had got shot at point blank range by a neighbor, and I don't know, the child may have been riding his bicycle. He had his Sun in Taurus near this same degree that this gentleman has, and he was shot. This person was tased and shot 7 times, because you're looking a lot of this. The reason this is these experiences are happening, I believe transit Uranus is the strong culprit. So I just want to say to anybody out there that has, if they have the sun or the ascendant especially, or even Mars and Taurus, those are what is connected more with the vitality and physical issues. If you have transit Uranus very close to it right now, in very close proximity to it, I would be exceptionally assiduous and very prudent, and just be very careful, because Uranus can do things, I mean, the physical body that could be very unusual, bizarre, and unpredictable. I mean, you're talking about this person being tased, that child was shot, and this, not only was this person tased, I'm talking about Jacob Blade, of course, he was also shot again in the back 7 times. So you have to really, I mean, if you're in a bad neighborhood especially, and there's a lot of corruption, there's a lot of criminal activity, especially volatile crimes, be exceptionally prudent at this time. I would give this warning to people, and it's not to be overly pessimistic or even sound morose or morbid, but it's just what I'm seeing right now. People that have, you know, their sun right now, or ascendant, or even Mars, and if it's around, like, you know, between, like, you know, 7 to 12 degrees Taurus, somewhere around there, be exceptionally careful at this time. Now, there's really not much more I had to, you know, say about this in terms of the transits that he's experiencing right now, and how it may be related, you know, transits and natal placements, how it may be related to his shooting. But another thing I wanted, well, actually, there was, let's see if there was anything else I wanted to state about this. Well, he also has Libra is intercepted in the 6th house in the solar sunrise chart, and when you have Libra there, well, that could mean that could be about issues, debilitations with the lower back. So it wouldn't surprise me if he was shot in the upper back and the lower back, based on the reasons I said previously for the upper back, and what I'm talking about now as far as his lower back, the lower back situation, the thing may go with him. So anyway, and another thing too, I mean, this really, I guess that is pretty much what I wanted to get at, and as far as his natal chart and transits. At this time, though, he did have, I mean, when I'm looking at his natal chart, he also has Neptune and Capricorn in the 9th house, which could really be an indicator about some very, you know, befuddling, confounding things connected with the law. And he also has Uranus in the 9th house in his solar sunrise chart. So that could be about very unusual, bizarre, unanticipated things that could be happening, that may have transpired with the law. Another thing too, well, that's really, I mean, that's really pretty much what I wanted. What I wanted to get at as far as natal placements and transits in his chart that may be related to the shooting. Now, I may do a chart based on, in terms of I might do an event chart of the shooting at some point. According to Wikipedia, it was on I believe it was August 23rd, 5:10 p.m. And it was Kenosha, I don't know if I'm saying it right, Wisconsin. But anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.